Louis Vuitton is in serious trouble and people are furious.
The battlefield is TikTok. It is flooded with such factory videos. Chinese suppliers are reaching out to American customers directly.
But do you know that more than 80% of the luxury leather products, like handbags, purses, and shoes of Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, Coach, Prada, you name it, most of them are made in China.
Things have taken a dramatic turn for Louis Vuitton, and it's not looking good at all. Shoppers are furious and storming into stores after shocking revelations came out from factories in China. Apparently, some major secrets about how Louis Vuitton really operates have just been exposed, and customers feel completely misled. For years, we've been told that Louis Vuitton stands for high-end fashion, elegance, and most importantly, European craftsmanship. The brand has built its reputation on the promise that its products are handmade in France, Italy, or Spain, luxurious locations that match its premium image. But now, all of that is being questioned, and honestly, people are feeling played. This isn't just another minor PR issue like Balenciaga had. No, this is much bigger. What we're dealing with here is a full-blown brand crisis.
China makes 80% of your designer bags.
Who's the Chinese supplier behind Under Armour? Shenzhou International. Nike shoes from China to your country?
Who are the suppliers behind Salomon, Timberland, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, la 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 la. First, the Baocheng factory.
It's not just calling them out, they're showing the world exactly where your $1,000 handbag or your $100 leggings are really being made. They're now offering you the same exact stuff, no middleman, no markup. In a bold move that seems more like economic warfare than manufacturing, Chinese workers are lifting the lid on a billion-dollar illusion.
So people are starting to wonder, have we been sold a fantasy all along? The viral video that blew everything. It all started when a video from a Chinese factory surfaced online, and it spread like wildfire. In the video, a worker calmly explained how Louis Vuitton bags are actually made, and it didn't take long for the internet to explode with reactions. The video reached millions in just days, and suddenly, everyone was talking about it. If you missed it, here's the quick recap. China responded to US trade tariffs by exposing just how much the world, including major Western companies, relies on Chinese manufacturing. And luxury brands weren't spared. Louis Vuitton,
even though these brands brag about being made in Europe, the video claims that more than half of Louis Vuitton's bags are actually made in China.
Which has always marketed its products as handmade in Europe, was dragged right into the mess. The biggest shock? More than half of Louis Vuitton bags are reportedly produced in China, not Europe. That alone was enough to leave people speechless. For years, the company has charged top dollar based on the image of luxury craftsmanship. But if the products are being mass-produced in Chinese factories for a fraction of the cost, then what are customers actually paying for? The real cost of a luxury bag here is where things get even more heated. According to factory workers, it costs as little as $15 to make some Louis Vuitton bags.
Asking you guys shall receive. You want a tutorial? I got you. So let's just click my link in my bio, and it's going to take you to my landing page. Just scroll down a little bit, and here you will find the spreadsheet. This is if you want my personalized help, and this is if you want anything added to the spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and click my spreadsheet. So here we have all of the vendors that I've compiled for you guys.
Meanwhile, customers are being charged thousands of dollars for the exact same items. Let that sink in for a moment. Imagine believing you've bought something exclusive and handcrafted, only to find out it was mass-produced cheaply, and the only thing luxurious about it is the label slapped on at the end. Understandably, customers are upset. Many are returning their purchases. Some have even gone as far as confronting store staff or posting angry rants on social media. Because when you buy into a brand like Louis Vuitton, you're not just buying a product, you're buying the story, the status, the craftsmanship. If all of that turns out to be smoke and mirrors, it's more than disappointing. It's infuriating. Louis Vuitton responds, but people aren't buying it, of course. Louis Vuitton issued a statement. They denied everything, insisting that their products are still made to the
decades. We have been conditioned to believe that China is just one giant sweatshop pumping out crap while we are the sophisticated, high-end innovators. And it turns out China has just been patiently waiting for us to be completely dependent upon their manufacturers. They have been mastering every technology, absorbing every industry, and then building an empire that doesn't need us half as much as we need them.
Highest standards, and that the claims were false. But here's the thing. Most people aren't convinced. It's not that people believe Louis Vuitton can't make good products. The problem is, trust has been broken. Customers are now wondering if they've been tricked for years, paying premium prices for something that might not be all that different from cheaper alternatives. Meanwhile, social media is flooded with tutorials from Chinese users showing how to identify whether your luxury item was made in China. And unfortunately for Louis Vuitton, a lot of those methods seem to be accurate. The beginning of a bigger problem? What's more concerning is that this may only be the beginning. Now that the door has been opened, more Chinese factory workers might come forward with even more behind-the-scenes details about how other luxury...
And now, a statement has been released to the press, seemingly from a source close to Louis Vuitton. In their statement, the source close to the brand said, "Louis Vuitton want everyone to know that what these people are saying is completely false and untrue, and they want everyone to understand that every item LV releases is made under meticulously high standards."
Brands operate. If that happens, this could become a turning point for the entire fashion industry. Imagine, if people start realizing that much of what they thought was handcrafted, rare, and exclusive actually isn't. This could completely change how consumers view high-end fashion. Not everyone cares, and that's a problem too. Here's where things get a little complicated. Some people honestly don't care where the bags are made. Whether it's France, China, or even another planet, they just want the logo. To these customers, Louis Vuitton is a status symbol. It's about the clout, the appearance, the vibe, and they're willing to pay for it no matter what. As long as the bag says Louis Vuitton, it's good enough. But this kind of thinking is exactly what allows brands to keep doing what they're doing, overcharging while cutting costs behind the scenes. The silent price hike that made things worse. Just when you thought things couldn't get messier, Louis Vuitton quietly raised their prices, again, and the way they did it? Honestly shady. While brands like Hermès gave customers a heads up before increasing prices, Louis Vuitton didn't say a word. No press release, no warning. Nothing. Shoppers only found out when they got to the register and realized their favorite. Items were suddenly 3 to 6% more expensive. Imagine going to buy your usual perfume or wallet, and surprise, it's $40 more, overnight. No explanation. To make matters worse, this isn't the first time they've done this. During the pandemic, when people were stuck at home and not spending much, Louis Vuitton quietly raised prices then too, claiming it was due to supply chain issues and rising material costs. But it's 2025 now, and the pandemic is long over. So what's the excuse this time? It's starting to feel like greed. Plain and simple. What's really going on? Here's the theory that's been floating around. Louis Vuitton knows that their brand name carries weight. It's not just about the bag. It's about the status that comes with it. They believe people won't walk away, no matter what, because the prestige is too tempting. And honestly, that might be true for some. But many loyal fans are reaching their breaking point. People are starting to speak up, and the brand's reputation is taking a serious hit. They're betting that customers will either not notice or be too embarrassed to say something at the counter. They're banking on silence, but that silence may not last much longer. A wake-up call for the fashion industry? This whole situation is bigger than Louis Vuitton. It's about what luxury really means in today's world. If a bag that costs $15 to make can be sold for $3,000 just because of the logo, what are we really paying for? Luxury brands need to be honest and transparent with their customers. Otherwise, they risk losing not just business, but loyalty, trust, and credibility. Brands like Chanel are already acting extra quiet, and people are starting to take notice. If more of them get exposed, we could be looking at a major shakeup across the entire luxury fashion industry. Right now, Louis Vuitton is offering a masterclass in how not to treat loyal customers. They've misled, overcharged, and now, when caught, they've gone silent or defensive. And unfortunately, the damage may already be done. One thing's for sure, shoppers are watching more closely than ever, and they're not afraid to speak up anymore. There's been a major shakeup in the world of high-end fashion, and the story keeps getting more intense. It all started with a massive leak involving some of the biggest luxury brands in the world, Louis Vuitton and Hermès. These brands are known for being secretive and highly protective of their craftsmanship and designs. But now they're finding themselves in the middle of a serious legal mess. According to recent reports, Louis Vuitton is allegedly suing some of its own manufacturing partners. The reason? These manufacturers are being accused of leaking confidential information to the public. Apparently, the leaks didn't just damage the brand's reputation. They may have handed counterfeiters everything they needed to create nearly flawless knockoff products. It's not just Louis Vuitton dealing with this chaos. Hermès is also involved and reportedly filing lawsuits of its own. The CEOs of both companies are said to be taking legal action against factories that claim to be official partners, accusing them of not only lying about their relationship with the brands, but also flooding the market with fake Birkin bags and other high-end products. People close to the situation say the leaks have done serious harm. By exposing trade secrets, these factories may have given counterfeiters a kind of blueprint, allowing them to make fakes that are so convincing, even experts might struggle to tell them apart. The lawsuits claim that these manufacturing partners broke confidentiality agreements, documents that are meant to protect private business dealings, and shared private design files with unauthorized sellers and third-party dealers. What makes this even more complicated is that these manufacturers weren't new or unknown partners. These were long-term relationships that the brands had trusted for many years. Now that trust appears to be shattered. Insiders are suggesting that some of these factories were playing both sides, producing real Louis Vuitton bags during the day and turning around at night to make counterfeit versions using the exact same materials and methods. That's a huge betrayal for companies that pride themselves on exclusivity and quality. It's a messy situation, and it's only getting worse. Louis Vuitton and Hermès have been aggressively filing lawsuits, trying to protect their image and market share. It's almost like a game of dodgeball, with legal papers being thrown in every direction. Still, people aren't convinced. Despite the brand's claims, they haven't provided any solid evidence to prove their side of the story. Many consumers and critics are asking for simple transparency. They want to see where these products are actually being made. They're asking for a tour of the factories or even just a glimpse at the production process, something Chinese manufacturers have already started to offer. One frustrated commenter pointed out that even high-end car companies like Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bugatti, Porsche, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz give the public a behind-the-scenes look at how their vehicles are built. These are some of the most expensive cars in the world, and yet their factories are not shrouded in mystery. So, why can't Louis Vuitton or Hermès do the same for their handbags? This lack of openness has led many people to question whether the so-called Made in France or Made in Italy labels are even accurate. Could it be that the actual production is happening in China, and the European labels are just a marketing strategy to maintain the illusion of exclusivity? Another person summed it up by saying, "They can sue all they want, but it won't matter if the facts point in another direction." That comment reflects a growing public skepticism. People want more than just lawsuits and corporate statements. They want proof. Meanwhile, Chinese companies are doing the exact opposite. They're being completely open, sharing full lists of manufacturers and even teaching people how to buy directly from Chinese vendors. It's no longer a secret that China plays a major role in the global luxury supply chain. Whether brands like it or not, the truth is coming out. So here's the big question. Is it really worth it for these luxury companies to keep pretending? Wouldn't it have been better for them to be honest and find a smarter, more transparent way to handle this crisis? Instead of endless lawsuits that may not go anywhere, maybe a new strategy based on honesty and adaptation would serve them better in the long run. This whole drama is unfolding against the backdrop of rising global tensions, especially between China and the West. The ongoing trade war and increased tariffs have made international business more complicated than ever. No one saw it getting this out of hand, and it's likely to become even more chaotic before it calms down. Rumors are now swirling that Bernard Arnault, the CEO of LVMH, the parent company of Louis Vuitton, may be stepping down earlier than expected. Arnault, one of the richest men in the world, had previously said he planned to stay in charge until the age of 85. That would have given him nearly a decade more at the helm. But now that he's 76, there's talk that he might retire soon due to the mounting pressure. This wouldn't just be a personal decision. The challenges facing LVMH are growing by the day. From damaging exposés on TikTok to viral videos showing made in France bags coming straight out of Chinese factories, the brand's carefully built image is under attack. The pricing markups, sometimes over 1,000%, have only made things worse. With trust in the brand beginning to crack and social media amplifying every new piece of evidence, it's clear that the luxury industry is going through one of its toughest times. And it's not just Louis Vuitton feeling the heat. Other top-tier names like Hermès, Gucci, and Chanel are also being dragged into similar controversies. To make matters even more urgent, Bernard Arnault's fortune took a major hit recently. Over $9 billion reportedly vanished from his net worth after LVMH shares dropped by more than 7%. The cause? A sudden and unexpected decline in first-quarter sales, showing that even the most luxurious brands aren't immune to economic shifts and public backlash. So what happens now? Luxury brands are at a crossroads. On one side, they can continue with the lawsuits, secrecy, and attempts to protect their image. On the other, they could choose a different path, one that involves transparency, rebuilding trust with consumers, and admitting that the supply chain is more global than they've ever publicly acknowledged. In today's world, where information spreads instantly and consumers are more informed than ever, the old rules no longer apply. Authenticity matters. People don't just want to own a luxury item. They want to know where it came from, who made it, and how it was created. Until these brands can answer those questions clearly, the skepticism will remain, and no number of lawsuits is going to fix that.